Welcome to I Am That, Chapter 13, The Supreme, the Mind and the Body, continued. In the last session, we stopped at the first question answer on page 33. We'll continue from there. The questioner says, I am asking you a question and you are answering. Are you conscious of the question and the answer? Why is he asking such a question? Because Maharaj says that he does not focus on the body-mind so much. He does not focus on the world so much. His focus or Kendra Sthan is on the pure consciousness, the reality, that which he himself is. So that is why he is asking the question, are you conscious of the question and the answer? Maharaj says, in reality, I am neither hearing nor answering. In the world of events, the question happens and the answer happens. Nothing happens to me. Everything just happens. So Maharaj has become very clear that I am simply the dream character in this dream world that belongs to the dreamer. This dream world runs on a dream script. That is why this dream character automatically does actions through the body. That is why this dream character seems to have thoughts that are related to this particular body-mind. He only seems to think that these actions and these thoughts belong to him. Actually, they belong to the dreamer. It is the dreamer that is actually moving and thinking for this body-mind. Maharaj has reached a stage where he recognizes that I am not this body-mind. Till now, I had pretended to be. I was under the false illusion that I am this body-mind. He has gone now beyond. You can also go beyond. Right now, take a step beyond the body, beyond the mind, and see that you are not listening. You are just witnessing the body listening to this particular talk. When this becomes clear, you will understand why this questioner is asking this question and why Maharaj is saying this. I am neither hearing nor answering. In the world of events, the question happens and the answer happens. The dream character cannot see the dreamer. The dream character cannot know the dreamer. The dream character is really nothing else but the dreamer. So the dream character can just be the dreamer. That is why if you look in, you cannot really know the I. You cannot really experience the I. But you can just be the I. Simply the I. Not I the woman or I the man. Not I the mother or I the father. Not I the sister or I the brother. Not I the businessman or I the doctor. Not the labels, not the title. Simply the I. You can also move from the illusion of being the dream character to being in reality the one who is witnessing the dream character. I am the dreamer. I am not the dream character. When you recognize this, you also recognize I am not the body-mind. One particular body-mind is not mine. You cannot say the body-mind, which is the closest, is mine, and the one that is furthest away is not mine. No, you're just using this body-mind as a peephole to look into the dream world and enjoy the dream. That's it. The peephole does not belong to you, is not created by you, is not yours. Now, this particular peephole does its job, its function. It helps the dream world be perceived. You cannot forget your position of being the witness and assume to become the peephole and say, I am the perceiver. Wrong understanding. You are not perceiving. You're simply witnessing. So, you are not seeing, you are not hearing, you are not smelling, you are not touching, you are not tasting. These are the 5 perceptions. You are not the perceiver. You are simply the witness. You can only know that this is happening. You cannot do. So Maharaj says, I am neither hearing nor answering. In the world of events, the question happens and the answer happens. Yes, I do not know when I am dreaming how the dream is happening. In the dream, the question also happens and the answer also happens automatically. So I, the dreamer, have woken up in this dream, and yet I just see that the question happens and the answer happens. Nothing happens to me. Everything just happens. Questioner says, and you are the witness? Maharaj says, what does witness mean? Mere knowledge. It rained and now the rain is over. I did not get wet. I know it rained, but I am not affected. I just witnessed the rain. That is the meaning of being the witness. When I am the witness, I just know what is happening. Knowing is my only possibility. I do not experience. That is why Maharaj is saying it is mere knowledge. What does witness mean? Mere knowledge. It rained and now the rain is over. I did not get wet. I know it rained, but I am not affected. I just witnessed the rain. The fully realized man, spontaneously abiding in the supreme state, appears to eat, drink, and so on. Is he aware of it or not? Maharaj says, that in which consciousness happens, the universal consciousness or mind, we call the ether of consciousness. All the objects of consciousness form the universe. What is beyond both, supporting both, is the supreme state, a state of utter stillness and silence. Whoever goes there disappears. It is unreachable by words or mind. You may call it God or Parabrahman, or Supreme Reality. But these are names given by the mind. It is the nameless, contentless, effortless, and spontaneous state, beyond being and not being. So the questioner has a doubt now whether Maharaj is as aware as the questioner is. Yeah, so he's asking that you eat, you drink. Are you aware that you're doing all these things? So Maharaj helps clarify that. He says, I am the Paramakash. So I am that Param Akash, the absolute no thingness, which is not simply a void, it is a conscious void. It is alive. It is full of awareness. I am the Paramakash. In me, the Paramakash, the witness consciousness arises. The sense of I am. This is the beginning of the mind, or it is the beginning of the Chidakash, which is the mental space in which all the minds are there. It is the collective mind, the Chidakash. In the Chidakash, the Mahad Akash arises. The Mahad Akash is all the physical bodies and all the physical objects, the so-called universe. So there is the Paramakash, in which there is the Chidakash, in which there is the Mahadakash. If this is clear, now let's read the paragraph again. That in which the witness consciousness happens, the universal consciousness or mind, we call the ether of consciousness. Ether of consciousness is nothing else but a literal translation of Chid Akash. Ether of consciousness. So what is Chidakash? In that in which there is the witness consciousness or the mind. And which mind? The universal, means all the minds together. My mind, Ghazal's mind, Pamir's mind, Sarang's mind, all the minds of the world. All the minds together, the collective mind. That which we have assumed to be little droplets of mind, or that which we have assumed to be as my personal mind, actually is one collective mind. That is called Chidakasha, or the ether of consciousness. In that Chidakasha, the witness consciousness seems to arise, the sense of I am. That in which the witness consciousness happens. The universal consciousness or mind we call the ether of consciousness, or Chid Akash. All the objects of consciousness form the universe, which is Mahad Akash. So Mahad Akash arises within the Chidakash. It contains all the objects that we define as the universe. What is beyond both? Beyond both means what? Beyond the Chidakash and beyond the Mahadakash. What is beyond both? Supporting both is the supreme state, a state of utter stillness and silence. What is supreme state? Param Akash. Whoever goes there disappears. It is unreachable by words or mind. You may call it God or Parabrahman or Supreme Reality. But these are names given by the mind. It is nameless, contentless, effortless and spontaneous state, beyond being and not being. So most of us have stepped from the Mahad Akash to the Chidakash. since we started recognizing that I am the witness consciousness. Now, some of us have also managed to get a glimpse of being the primordial awareness. That is nothing but being the Paramakash. When you get a glimpse of that, you recognize that I am beyond the body and the mind. I am the Paramakash in which the Chidakash and the Mahad Akash come and go. So when I recognize I'm not the body and I'm not the mind, my wrong assumption of being the person dissolves. So he says, whoever goes there disappears. Doesn't mean you're really going to disappear. It means that sense of being a person, I this person, I am this body mind, this assumption disappears. It vanishes totally. So he says, whoever goes there disappears. It is unreachable by words or mind. Because mind cannot go there, no? Only when you recognize I am not the mind, I am not the thoughts. When you recognize I am that no thingness, you have already dropped the mind. So mind cannot go there. You may call it God or Parabrahman or Supreme Reality, but these are simply names given by the mind. It is nameless. You cannot name nothingness. It is no thing. You cannot name nobody. There is nobody there. Yeah? So it is nameless. It is contentless. There is no body. There is no mind. There is no I. Yeah? It is contentless. Effortless and spontaneous state. You don't have to do something. In fact, you cannot do. Doership belongs to the body mind. I am not the body mind. I cannot do. Only when I give up the thought of being the doer, just resting, relaxing, just witnessing in that effortlessness, the spontaneous state happens. Yeah, it's not even a state. These are also just words. That is the real me. That is who I am. Beyond being and not being. You cannot say, I am. The moment you say, I am, you're not anymore in the primordial awareness. You have come to the witness consciousness level. Yeah. So, there is no being. Yeah? Yet you cannot say, I am not. So, there is no being, there is no not being. It is beyond both being and not being. So this questioner is a little confused. It's beyond being and beyond not being. But does one remain conscious in such a state? So Maharaj says, as the universe is the body of the mind, so is consciousness the body of the Supreme. It is not conscious, but it gives rise to consciousness. So how is the universe the body of the mind? Every night in deep sleep state, there is no universe, there is no body, there is no mind. There is no I even. There is nothing in deep sleep state. Then I is born. From the I, thoughts are born. These thoughts are nothing else but the projections. A thought is then assumed to be tangible. And that tangible thought is labeled as objects of the universe. So the universe is nothing but the body of the mind, because it is the projection of the thoughts of the mind. Similarly, the witness consciousness is the body of the primordial awareness or pure consciousness. The pure consciousness is no thingness. It has no thing there. There is no body. It is like the void. It is like stillness, silence, emptiness. In that emptiness, when that emptiness becomes aware of itself, it projects a sense of being because it becomes aware of itself. That sense of being, in Hindi, होने का एहसास. In Marathi, asme. That sense of being, the sense of I am. That is the body of the primordial awareness or the pure consciousness. The questioner says, in my daily actions, much goes by habit, automatically. I am aware of the general purpose but not of each movement in detail. As my consciousness broadens and deepens, details tend to recede, leaving me free for the general trends. Does not the same happen to a jnani, but more so? Maharaj says, on the level of consciousness, which is witness consciousness, yes. In the supreme state, no. The pure consciousness or pure awareness is what he's talking about on the next page. This state is entirely one and indivisible, a single solid block of reality. The only way of knowing it is to be it. The mind cannot reach there. To perceive it does not need the senses. To know it does not need the mind. So why does he say this? Because the questioner asks that he is aware of the general purpose, but he is not aware of each movement in detail. And details tend to recede. Is that not what happens for a jnani? That is why. But Maharaj says, well, you can say that this happens at the witness consciousness level, but not at the primordial consciousness level. Because the primordial consciousness is entirely one and indivisible. It is a single block of reality. So there is nothing to be aware of the general purpose and not be aware of details, because there is no general purpose and details at all at the primordial awareness level. And he goes further to say that the mind cannot reach it. The only way of knowing it is to be it. You can never experience it, you can never know it. You can only be it. To perceive, it does not need the senses. To know does not need the mind. Because that is knowingness itself. So the questioner has Dvaitam influence, I guess, and that's why he asks, that is how God runs the world? Maharaj is like, God is not running the world. So then the questioner says, then who is doing it? Maharaj says, nobody. There's a little typo there. After nobody, another person just says all happens by itself, or the questioner says all happens by itself. Then Maharaj says you are asking the question and you're supplying the answer. And you know the answer when you ask the question. All is a play in consciousness. All divisions are illusory. You can know the false only. The truth you must yourself be. I want you to explore one more thing. Many times, you know the answer before you are asking the question. Look somewhere inside. You already know the answer and you are asking the question. It's not about these knowledge sessions that I'm talking about. In anything in life, anything, you know the answer. It is all a play in consciousness, and you are the dreamer. You know it all. You just pretend that you are limited by the body mind, and that is why you assume that you do not know the answer. But you know the answer to the question that you are asking. Because it is all a play in the same consciousness. All divisions are illusory. You can know the false only. The truth you must yourself be. So the questioner asks the next question. There is the witnessed consciousness and there is the witnessing consciousness. Is the second the supreme? So Maharaj says, there are the two, the person and the witness. Maharaj makes it very simple. He says there is the person, the body mind, and the witness, the observer or the dreamer in our example. When you see them as one and go beyond, you are in the supreme state. So this is one level higher from witness consciousness. Till now, we were only practicing to be the witness of the body and the mind. And when we were taking this stand as the witness consciousness, we saw body separate, mind separate, the world separate, and I, the witness consciousness, separate. Now Maharaj is taking you one more step beyond. The I had stopped at witness consciousness. Now he's saying, shift the I to one step beyond. Yes, move your I from the witness consciousness and go one step beyond. When you go one step beyond to the primordial awareness, you see the witness consciousness and the body-mind world together. They are not separate. Together. You have gone one step beyond. So now we'll read that again. When you see them as one and go beyond, you are in the supreme state. Please highlight this. This is the next key for the people who are working to go beyond the witness consciousness to the primordial awareness. In your experiential recognition, not in your intellectual understanding, in your experiential recognition, is this happening that you see the witness along with the body-mind world all as one? You are beyond. Beyond the witness, beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the world. Then you are at the supreme state level. It is not perceivable because it is what makes perception possible. Perceivable means you cannot perceive it through sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, because it makes perception possible. So in our dream example, going beyond both the dream character and the dreamer. What is beyond the dream character and the dreamer? The dreamer waking up completely from the dream, out of the dream, going beyond the dream character and the dreamer, because a dreamer is a dreamer only till the dream lasts. Do you get it? The moment the dream is over, the dream world is also over, the dream character is also over, the dreamer is also over. Now there's a new identity, the waker. Now you are the waker, you are not the dreamer anymore. That is the supreme state. That is called awakening. That is called enlightenment. When I am beyond both the dream character with its dream world and the dreamer, which means I am beyond the body-mind world and the witness consciousness. When I go beyond both, then I am at the supreme state, the primordial awareness level. Now, this primordial awareness was the one that was making the perception happen. Means it is the waker that goes to sleep, becomes the dreamer, and makes the dream world happen. Makes the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch of the dream world happen through its dream script. For that, the waker had to become the dreamer. So, who's making everything possible? It is the waker. So, the waker makes the perception possible. That is why he cannot be perceived. Can the dream character say, now I am going to perceive that waker? I am going to wake the dreamer up and meet the waker. Is it possible for a dream character to meet the waker? Not possible. Yes. Hopefully that is very clear. It is not perceivable because it is what makes perception possible. It is beyond being and not being. It is neither the mirror nor the image in the mirror. It is what is, the timeless reality, unbelievably hard and solid. The dream world, time and space does not affect the waker. So, with respect to the dream time and dream space, the waker is beyond time and beyond space, beyond the dream time, beyond the dream space. So he is timeless, he is spaceless. He is hard and solid awareness, one block of reality. It is beyond being and not being. So you cannot say that the waker does not exist just because the dream character cannot see him in the dream world. And you cannot say the waker exists because the waker is not there in the dream world. So it is beyond being and beyond not being. It is neither the mirror nor the image in the mirror. It is what is, the timeless reality. When you look at your face in the mirror, that which you see in the mirror, is that real? No. So neither the mirror is real nor the image in the mirror is real. What is real? This is my real face. That is not my real face, that which I am seeing in the mirror. So that which is in the image of the mirror is not the real. The mirror is also not the real. What is real? This. So, similarly, it is neither the mirror nor the image in the mirror. It is what is, the timeless reality, unbelievably hard and solid. Questioner asks, the Jnani, is he the witness or the supreme? Now the question has become very clear what is the witness and what is the supreme. The witness is the dreamer, the supreme is the waker. Yes. So Maharaj says, he is the supreme of course, but he can also be viewed as the universal witness. All the witnesses all together. The dreamer sees the entire dream world. It is the same dreamer that is also the waker, not really different. Yeah? When the dreamer wakes up and he says, oh, it was all a dream. Even the snake swallowing me was the dream, and even the uh, party with the friends, happy party, that was also a dream. All of it is a dream. So he is the universal witness. But he remains a person? This questioner is very confused, no? Maharaj says, when you believe yourself to be a person, you see persons everywhere. In reality, there are no persons, only threads of memories and habits. At the moment of realization, the person ceases. Identity remains. But identity is not a person. It is inherent in the reality itself. The person has no being in itself. It is a reflection in the mind of the witness. The I am, which again is a mode of being. So the questioner asks about the Jnani. Does he remain a person? I don't know in what context he was thinking. Maybe he comes from the Dvaitam path and he expects that the Jnani or the enlightened one disappears or does not see the world, or I don't know what his imagination is, but the way Maharaj explains it is that the sense of I, this person, I, this body mind, that drops away completely. When you believe yourself to be a person, you see persons everywhere. So when you believe yourself to be the dream character in this dream, and without recognizing that it is a dream, you think yourself to be this flesh and blood and bones with a mind that is, I am this body, I am this mind, a very strong belief. You believe yourself to be this person who is an engineer, a doctor, a teacher. This personality, this belief, when you have, I am a person, you see others also as persons. So if you see an enlightened person, you think that is also a person. Why? Because that is the limitation of your mind. You have not matured beyond a point. You have always been in that ignorance of being the body and mind. So you see an enlightened person also as the body and mind. When you believe yourself to be a person, you see persons everywhere. In reality, There are no persons, only threads of memories and habits. I like the way Maharaj describes people. We are just threads of memories and habits. We'll do a self-exploration, but let me tell you in short. Moment to moment, notice that which you call I, this person. Moment to moment, that person disappears, 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 and appears, disappears, and appears. What is person? Person is nothing but thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions. There is nothing else beyond a person. Perception and sensation together I call the body. Thoughts and feelings together I call the mind. Have you noticed thoughts appear and disappear? Yeah. Feelings appear and disappear. That means the mind appears and disappears. Have you noticed sensations appear and disappear? Have you noticed the perception of sight, sound, smell, taste and touch appear and disappear? That means the body appears and disappears. What does this mean? The person appears and disappears. The person is not constant. That which I feel is this one constant entity. That is not constant. That is not continuous. So Maharaj says, in reality there are no persons only, which is so true. That which appears and disappears, how can you say that is real or that exists? How can you give it some strong foundation that exists? How can you call it an entity that exists? It's not one continuous entity. So in reality, there are no persons. What is there in reality? Some memories of yours floating. You put these memories together and you say, this is my name, this is where I live, these are my family members, this is my occupation, these things belong to me, these situations happened with me in the past, these did not happen. You have these few memories which you put together and you say, this is who I am. They are threads of memories. The body-mind has habit patterns according to these memories. This body-mind called Ekta speaks in this pattern only. This body-mind called Ekta uses hands and gestures while speaking. This body-mind called Ekta walks like this, talks like this, does things like this. N number of habit patterns following the memories, the threads of memory. That's all we are. We are threads of memory and habits. There are no persons. So he says, there are no persons, only threads of memories and habits. At the moment of realization, the person ceases. What happens when you become enlightened or you awaken to your real nature? You completely dissociate with this body mind because you realize, oh, dream world, dream character body mind. I am the dreamer. What have I been associating with? Illusion, drop. It completely drops off. The person ceases. Now is the most important thing. Identity remains. Why identity remains? Because this dream world is there. The dream is continuing. The dream does not stop. The dreamer has become awake in his dream. He knows he is dreaming, but the dream has a shelf life. It is going to continue for this much time. So that much time the dreamer is awake in the dream, knowing that I am dreaming this. Yes? So the witness consciousness completely snaps its relationship or its wrong assumption that it is the person. The person ceases. That does not mean the body-mind will die. The body-mind will continue till it's supposed to continue in the dream world. The identity remains. What identity? Is this body-mind, is the mother, the father, the teacher, the doctor, the colleague of this, whatever the identifications of that body mind were, they remain. Why? Because that belongs to this dream script, no? Dream script cannot suddenly change. The dream world cannot vanish. The only thing that happens is the dreamer becomes awake in his dream. At the moment of realization, the person ceases. Identity remains. But identity is not a person. It is inherent in the reality itself. Means it is part of the dream script itself. The person has no being in itself. It is a reflection in the mind of the witness I am. These threads of memory and habits, they are not real person. They are nothing but a reflection in the witness consciousness, in the sense of I am. The person has no being in itself. It is a reflection in the mind of the witness, the I am, which again is a mode of being. So now the questioner is asking, is the Supreme conscious? Neither conscious nor unconscious. I am telling you from experience. What is he talking about? He's talking about the Param Akash or the Swarup, my real self, my real nature. My real nature, am I conscious or am I unconscious? What does he say? Neither conscious nor unconscious. Again, this is a clue for the people who have got there. If you've got a glimpse, you will understand this statement. If you have not got a glimpse, then you will be confused. Till the witness consciousness level, I know I am conscious because I am knowing. The moment I go beyond the witness consciousness level to the primordial consciousness, and this all is one, the witness consciousness, the mind, the body, and the world are all seen as one, and I am beyond them, then I am neither conscious nor unconscious. I am not conscious of all these, yet I am not unconscious of these. This can only be tasted. You just be the primordial awareness and you recognize, yes. The taste, the glimpse gives you this idea, yes, I am conscious and yet I am not conscious.